Hey everybody! Just a quick reminder, these stories aren't always public perfect conversation. I do use a lot of strong language in here, and I talk about some things that aren't always necessarily pleasant to hear. But I hope you still enjoy it. Also, please don't forget to check me out on everywhere you can find music and other podcasts. Mostly, follow me on Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can get ad-free content, 24 hours early access to episodes, and for $3 a month, you get the options of having community chats with me and some of the other fans. For $5 a month, you get voting powers on any changes I want to run through the fans. You also get priority requests and suggestions, live Q&As, community chats, one-on-one chats with me personally, either through messages or through calls, and maybe we can even set up a time to be a guest on the show. And of course, that's in addition to everything from the lower tiers. I'm planning on doing more with the community as it grows. With that being said, let's get into the episode. Hey everybody, welcome back to Stories from Behind the Counter, and as always, I am your host, Alpha. So, I'm just going to say it right now, this is going to be a bit of a rant starting out, but please stick with me. I know it's been a while since I've last posted an episode, and I'm sorry about that. First and foremost, family is always number one in my life, and spending time with them is always very important, especially around those special days like birthdays, anniversaries, etc. That being said, I haven't just been doing nothing. I'm still gathering as many stories for the show as possible, so please don't forget to be sending me your stories too. I can only collect so many stories at a time on my own, and I really want to hear from all of you who are listening. I want stories from all over the world and every job type. And bringing up people from all over the world, I want to give a big shout out to all my worldwide listeners. I know I shouted out Singapore and a couple other places last episode. I won't go through the entire list in the recording, but I did post it on my socials. So please, if you're following me on Facebook or Instagram, I've got the list up there. I love it. I love seeing how much I'm spreading. Thank you all over the world. I can't believe how far my show is already reaching. Keep sharing the show. Keep sharing the love. In the meantime, I have other news. I'm also working on doing a few other projects to see how people like them. I know I've mentioned being a fan of history as well, and as much as I love always learning more about the big events that changed the world, I also love learning about history of little local places, people, or events that you don't usually hear about unless you were raised or you live in a specific area for a while. So I'm starting a show where that's what I look for. Local Histories is going to be my new show, diving into little-known people, events, or even places. These are the things that almost seem like legend or folklore for specific areas. This will be coming out soon. I don't have an exact launch date yet, but it is in the works, so keep your eyes and ears peeled. I'm also in the works of collaborating with a couple of different companies and a couple of different people, trying to expand myself, get myself out there a little more, while making some connections, and hopefully some friends in the midst of all of it. If you have any ideas or suggestions for collaborations, let me know in the comments or in my email. Of course, workwithalphag@gmail.com. That is workwithalphag@gmail.com. Or get me on my socials, Instagram, Facebook, and of course, come on over to Patreon. With that rant over, let's get into the actual episode. You know, the part you actually came here for. This story is from my friend Ash. Ash says she had a guy come in, and he had an appliance order. He wants to argue with us that he's being charged way too much in taxes for his order. He swears tax is only 5%. We looked it up. Tax in this state is about 8 to 8.5. Can't remember the exact numbers, but we looked it up and it's about 8 to 8.5. I try to explain this, and he continues to argue about what he believes it should be. After a bit of back and forth, he goes online to place the order in the next town over. Turns out they charge the same tax there. Same as we do. Weird. He storms off saying he's gonna write Congress and he's gonna complain. Blah, 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 blah. Then, instead of leaving the store, he goes and he complains to the appliance associate and he tries to get them to quote unquote fix it again. He was in the store for a good 2 hours or so before he finally left. No, he didn't get the tax marked down, as, well, that's impossible and illegal even if it was a possibility. But I'm sure management marked down the order in some way or another just to get him out of there and get him quit causing trouble. But honestly, I'm not 100% sure what happened. This is me speaking as Alpha. Yeah, we've had plenty of people like that at some of my other jobs too. It truly amazes me. I know I've said it before, but it truly amazes me how 80 years of the customer is always right has ruined society, especially since they're missing about half that quote. I guess if you know, you know. Most people just don't know. That being said, I'm glad that management took care of it somehow and he eventually left. This next story is one directly from me. This lady comes in. She looks like she is tweaking her balls off. She can't stop swaying back and forth, fidgeting, dancing. Now, she's about 5 foot flat, look like maybe 100 pounds soaking wet with some heavy clothes on. But she wants to check out at the service desk, so as annoying as it is when customers want to check out at the refund desk, I start ringing her up. And she's telling me all about her project and how her neighbor is a complaining, whiny little bitch. She's talking about how she got a water tank from him for free and just has a small leak and now she's fixing it up. Then goes into how he's such an asshole again and he's a whiny little bitch. And then she hops over to how she's a long haul driver. She drives full flatbeds and skirts because rules are supposed to be broken and she's a badass and blah 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 blah. This tweaker Tammy is sitting here talking for almost 20 minutes, seemingly not taking a breath at all. I couldn't even keep up with half of what she was saying. And y'all, she only had 5 items to ring up. And she talked for 20 minutes. Even my coworkers and other customers were waiting for her to pass out because it didn't look like she'd gotten enough air. It didn't seem like she was breathing at all. Now, I know we can all get a little worked up sometimes, but boy, doing that for 20 minutes, I don't know what she was on. Or maybe she just had that much ADD. Maybe she had some sort of mental issues. I'm not sure. But I was not prepared for that. Hey, everybody, this is Alpha. I just wanted to take a moment and talk about something real fast. We all know that working in retail or fast food or really anywhere overall, and sometimes just trying to live our adult lives, sometimes you need some extra help getting energy. But you're not trying to get cracked out, especially when you're trying to cut out some of those extremes that bring us down. Extreme amounts of sugar, extreme amounts of caffeine, things we're trying to do to make ourselves live a little bit healthier. Well, Aspire Energy is the perfect replacement drink for most of those other energy drinks. This is a green tea energy drink and it's only got about 80 milligrams of caffeine. So it's about the same as your average cup of coffee. With no sugars, you won't have that crazy sugar high or crash. You won't get the jitters from 200 plus milligrams of caffeine in one drink. I've been drinking these for a little while, and I gotta tell you, I will take this over any other energy drink I've had in the past, to be honest. I've been feeling a lot better. I'm still able to get through my day, and, well, the flavors are actually really awesome. Personally, I like the apple acai. It's my favorite so far. But there are a whole bunch of flavors, so go and check them out yourself. Use my show's promo code SFBTC and get 20% off. Check it out. I've got the link below. This next story is from an old manager of mine. We're going to call her Miss S. Miss S is working as a manager at a big retail store, and she's back in the office trying to take care of some paperwork, when all of a sudden she starts hearing this argument in the hallway, just around the corner. There were two men, one that looked like he was in his 70s, and a young man who looked to be about maybe in his 20s, and they're yelling at each other. The old man is saying something along the lines of, "You didn't wash your hands. I wouldn't want to shake your hand with your disgusting wiener hands. That's fucking gross." And the younger man is arguing back that his hands were clean and the old man needs to mind his own damn business. And they're arguing for a few minutes when Miss S hears boom and rushes out to see what happened. Apparently, the younger man had pushed the older man to the ground and knocked him back a good bit of distance, and he fell into the wall. Well, Miss S instantly yelled at them to knock it off and broke up the fight. She got another co-worker to take care of the elderly man while she walked the younger man out. Mind you, the younger man is about 6 foot. He's a pretty decent-sized guy compared to a young woman who's maybe 5'8". The young man just kept trying to talk and yell at the old man while Miss S just sat there, hurting him out, not even touching him, just pointing and going, go, stop it, just keep walking. Eventually, the young man was 86 and walked out of the store completely. When Miss S got back to the elderly man and the other coworker, she checked to make sure the elderly man was okay. He claimed he was fine, and that the young man was about to, quote, get his clock cleaned before she interfered. She thought in her mind, yeah, okay, dude, I found you a few feet away from the other guy on the ground. But you were about to clean his clock. Sure. All right. Well, luckily enough, the man was fine and nothing else happened after that, but she said that was quite an interesting day. Yeah, that's not the first fight I've seen like that. I've seen worse. I'm pretty sure I brought up the old lady on Black Friday. There's just something about a retail environment, and old people and young people just don't mix unless they're working together, and even then that doesn't always go too well. The things we deal with in retail. Speaking of retail, this one's another good one. This is the lady in the door department. This was a good team effort that a lot of people in the store had to deal with. So I'm working at this big hardware retail store. I'm a department supervisor, and I have some stuff that I have to get done with another associate, and it's concerning an order for a customer he's taking care of. I walk over to the door and window department to find the associate that I need, and I find the associate with a customer and 2 other associates. The customer is looking for some sort of mounting tape that's double-sided. You stick it to the wall, and it apparently mounts a door, according to her. At this point, all of us have tried searching online, and we have no idea what she's looking for. We take her down to some of the aisles to see if we have anything like what she's talking about, but none of us have heard of it, and we have no luck. We're trying as hard as we can. More and more people are getting involved, and the customer, minute by minute, is getting more and more aggravated and getting more and more rude and calling all of us stupid, calling us idiots, and eventually she says, "Well, I know I saw it online. Your website has it. You people are just fucking stupid." So we respond with, "Well, we tried finding it online and we're not having any luck, but if you found it online, it could be an online only thing. We can't carry everything in one store, sadly, so you might have to get it special ordered online. That's all." Well, obviously, the customer doesn't like that. Customer starts yelling and storming off, "You're all so fucking lazy. 4 fucking people. This ain't no fucking online bullshit. Go fuck yourselves, you fucking assholes." She reminded me of my dad when I was younger. Talk like that. Well, apparently she walked toward the front of the store, and I responded with a loud, slightly sarcastic, "Have a good night, ma'am. I hope you find what you're looking for online." She got out of earshot. We couldn't hear her anymore, and we went about our business. Apparently, another associate who had tried to help her initially came up and asked, I assume we couldn't find what she needed? I said, nope, but she was already irritated by the time I came over. I don't think anyone would have been able to help her. Some people are just like that. When they're already angry, they just want to be angry most of the time. I don't understand why. Well, later on, we're walking past the front end and we're talking about the situation. And when the lady running the front end kind of overheard us, she popped her head around the corner and said, Oh, are you talking about the lady that came through here smacking our customers' carts and yelling and screaming? We respond with, Yeah, that sounds about right. The front end associate tells us that she came up to the front screaming and cussing about the four of us being so lazy and stupid. It was ridiculous how no one knows their job anymore, and yelled at the front end associate, yelled at a customer, smacked their cart, and pushed it out of her way and stormed out. Some people's children, I swear. Well, moving on. This next one is from one of my friends and former coworkers. They actually work as asset protection at a specific store. And I was also there to witness this that day as a customer when I was shopping. So this is an interesting story. One day, I walk into a store shopping as a customer, and I walk in to instantly hear someone screaming, like bloody murder type screaming. When I get closer to the meat department, where I needed to go, I figure out that's where this lady is. She's screaming and yelling, mostly in Spanish, a little bit of English, but mostly Spanish. Obviously, I don't understand a whole lot. Only things I can understand are puta and por favor. But it looks like she's trying to yell specifically at one person. And I'm thinking maybe her and her other half got into an argument. Maybe she's going off on them for something. I don't know. But again, all I can understand is puta and por favor, which I know it usually means something along the lines of bitch and please. So, take that for what it is, I guess. But she was also yelling a whole bunch of other things. She would say some full sentences in Spanish, sometimes switch over to English or whatever, but eventually she starts walking toward the front doors. As she's walking past an associate that's out of uniform and on their lunch, she grabbed the associate by the arm. She starts yelling directly at the associate, who, mind you, had nothing to do with anything that was going on as far as I'm aware. The associate just shrugged her off and kept walking like nothing happened, completely unfazed. The other lady just keeps screaming and walking toward the front, yelling at any random people that she passes, causing a scene, and all the customers around are just like, is someone calling the cops? I can assure you, I saw the AP person there. There was other members of management there. There was lots of associates, yes. The cops were already called. So she's continuing on her little tirade, and just before she's finally leaving the store, she turns around and runs right into a police officer that had just walked in right behind her, seen and heard her screaming and acting a fool. So he instantly grabbed her by the arm, put her arms behind her back, put her in cuffs, put her in the car, and that was pretty much the end of it right there. I just grabbed what I needed and left. I just wanted to get some damn pork chops and a couple other things. Get out of there. But instead, I got another story for the show. It's sad, even as a customer, that just shopping in any retail place, you deal with a lot of shit. Oh well. More content for me, I guess. And I think I'm going to wrap this up with one more quick story and one more slight rant. So, just very recently, I've had to deal with a third poop incident while at work. Just within the last few months, 3 poop incidences. I had to clean up one of them. I told you all about that one. But now 2 more. Now, I get it. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes emergencies happen. Sometimes you're sick. But Jesus fucking Christ, people. If you're that sick, don't go out into public. And for the love of God, we understand if things happen. But why do you need to shit in a urinal or shit and smear it all over the place, all over the walls? People, just please stop. It's disgusting. And all of us are tired of dealing with it. And on that happy note, I think we're going to call this an episode. Thanks again for listening, guys. As always, I appreciate everyone who's been listening, and especially those who've been sending me their stories. Again, whatever I call you on the show is all you will ever be known as. And of course, I want to give a big shout out to Denise Esparza from Nisi Art on Instagram. She's the one who's responsible for the thumbnails that you guys see when I upload my episodes. Check her out on Instagram if you want to see what else she can do. I want to give a shout out to Nivation as well for the intro and the outro music that's provided for the show. You can find Nivation on Spotify and on Facebook. Nivation, Denise, you guys are awesome, and I appreciate both of you for helping me keep this going. With all that being said, this is Alpha signing off. Stay fabulous, everyone.